So we're at the Rams Field in North Carolina, Winston-Salem, and it's a helicopter event, and we're going to talk about airplanes. So, I don't know. Does that make sense? Yes. This is Chris's trailer, and it's recently done. Very cool, LED lights. He's got 2 airplanes on gear jacks. He's using the Gladiator Gear Track. They're mounted that way. It's a really nice setup, and I think he's pretty happy with it. We were at another event, and I was watching him load and unload the airplanes, and it was pretty good, and I think he's pretty happy. But I went, you know, we could make that even easier if we slid these airplanes out of the trailer and then unsecured them from the gear jacks. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use the Gladiator Gear Track sliding retainer kit from Random RC. And I'm going to show you how to install it, and it's like 15 minutes of work. A benchmark of where we are, Chris is going to unload these models from the trailer, and that'll be necessary anyway because we're going to take them off the gear jacks and then reconfigure them on a T configuration. So Chris, why don't you show us what it takes to come out of there?
I'm going to start at the back.
Okay, so this is a pretty small airplane, not too difficult to get him out. Why don't you take that big one out? Right, so the straps are off now. Tail's already loose.
This is the trick right here.
So he's going to lift it up and off and slide it forward just enough to put the gear on the ground. Then the tail came up and he's going to roll out and then lift that guy out of there. And there we go. Okay, so not so bad and way easier than a lot of the, you know, homemade cradles that people use. So the gear jack system works pretty good, but we can make it work a lot better, and that's what we're going to do next. This is the Gear Track sliding retainer kit from Random RC, and that's one thing we need to do this upgrade to the trailer today. We need a couple of other things that aren't included in the kit, and those are some handles, because we're going to want to lift up and slide this thing in and out, and a joining plate, and that's going to allow us to put the gear track in sort of a T configuration. I'll open these things up in a minute. We'll start building the T configuration, and you'll see how it all goes together. So this kit includes all these things. So we got 4 skate wheels, we got 4 T-nuts, we've got the mounting screws for them, and we've got what serves as the axle, the 8mm hex bolt, the washers, and threaded insert, T-knob, and a washer for that. That's what's going to hold the thing in place once we've slid it into position. So that's the kit. Now in addition, we need joining plates and we need handles, and I brought enough of those to do the job today. Last is gear track. I don't sell the gear track. You buy it at Lowe's, Home Depot, Sears, Amazon. It comes in 4-foot lengths, and typically you'll pay $11. We need 2 of these to do the job today because Chris already has some 2-footers in the trailer. Okay, so the airplanes are out. Next step is to remove the existing Gladiator Gear Track. Since we're going to put the airplanes back in the exact same place, I'm going to mark the location of the front sections that support the landing gear struts. I'm just going to use some pieces of tape and say, okay, that's going to go right there, and these are going to go here, right? And we'll do that, and that'll just make putting them back in the same spot pretty darn easy. All right. Then we'll take these things out, we'll go over to the bench, and we'll reconfigure them into T's using our joining plates. So what we're going to do now is set up the T configuration. We've got the front piece of Gladiator Gear Track. We've got our joining plate set up, and I'm just going to show you how easy that stuff is to put together. So I've removed one of the gear jacks, And I can slide that thing into there, and then I'll bring that over. Maybe I'll just kind of snug up one of them a little bit so it stops moving. Then I can just slide that in. And it comes up into a T. That's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to move it over and center it, but you get the idea. So that's one of the first steps we need to do in putting our T configuration together. Okay, so we've got the T configuration done. Joining plate is there. The handles are there. We need to adjust the strut supports because, as you recall, these were very close together. And now that we have the joining plate there, we've got to spread them apart. So we'll need to bring these up and down. We'll use the airplane to fit that before we try and slide these in. Okay, so we did the adjustments to the strut supports and to the tail support position. We got the airplane secured on the T configuration, and we're ready to slide it into the trailer and then locate the skate wheels. Just to show you how nice this is, you reach around like this, grab there, and you can just pick the airplane up, right? That's what we're talking about. And we're going to be able to slide in just like that. We know that the airplane is secure. We didn't have to crawl into the trailer to do it. So we've put the T configuration back into position using our tape marks, made sure it's parallel to the wall. And now we're going to use this drill template. This comes in the kit, and you line it up with this edge and this edge to create what will be the first wheel, which is our stop. Then after we've got those marked, we'll go to the back, do the same thing, line up the edges, and drill for those two things. If you don't want to use the template, you don't have to, because conveniently, it's exactly 1 inch off this edge and 1 inch off this edge. This is 6 inches, and the centers of the two skate wheels are 8 inches. That's what we're going to do next. Just going to lift it up a little bit. And line up those marks. And there you go. That looks pretty darn good. So you can use a center punch. I have a spring-loaded one. You can use an awl, whatever you need, and we'll mark those. Now, when you mark these holes, err on the side of being too close in. We can always shim the wheels up so they don't engage too strongly, but we can't if we're too far out. So err on the side of being too close in. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that one. And I've got a 12 millimeter bit here. I could use a 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch will give you a little more clearance around the T-nut. But since I have a 12 and it's 12, I thought I'd do it that way. There he is. Okay, nice and square. I put some tape measuring 5/8 on the drill bit. I don't want to go through the floor of the trailer. And there we are, right to our tape. Okay, that's one. I think that's good. So we'll blow those things out once we're really there. I just go back, make sure that I've still got my 13 inches. That looks good. All right. So now we'll go up to the back and we'll do those. When we're sliding in, catch the wheels back here early enough so that, you know, we get a fair amount of controlled slide. So I'm going to put them right around in here. There's really no magic place that you have to put them. So we're going to line them up again. And that looks pretty good. It does indeed. Right. is. That looks like I got it. Can always come back and make it a little deeper, but I don't want to go through. By the way, this is a 3/4 inch plywood trailer bed, and that's what we need. We're going to put this 5/8 deep hole in there and not let the weather come in. Okay, so I'll blow these holes out, and the next thing we're going to do is install the T-nuts. Okay, so we're going to install these screw mount T-nuts in the holes we've drilled. You notice they have a countersink. We want to drill right down through the countersink. And if you haven't seen a hinge bit before, it's a wonderful thing. This end fits right in the countersink, and it's spring-loaded, so it collapses and lets the drill bit come out and drill right down the middle. When you use a tool like that, you get really flush screw heads. You can mark them if you want, but if you don't have one of these, pretty nice. So, these are going to be a nice, snug fit. We want to make sure that we're all the way down, right? If we're not all the way down, we need to make that hole a little deeper. In this case, they're fine. And just because I'm that guy, I'm going to make those sort of look like that. Chuck up the hinge bit. Okay, so the next step is to install the skate wheels. The kit ships with 3 washers for each skate wheel. One of them goes on the top, got to, and there's a little spacer in there that you need to get lined up. And the other one is there as a shim, and we're going to start out with that shim. It's lifting the wheel up to reduce the amount of engagement on the Gladiator track. If we want it tighter, we'll take it out. Somewhere around there. And because it's got bearings in the skate wheel, 13mm hex wrench, and you can tighten it down. There we go. So we'll go do the others. That's just fine. Whoops. You can't put it in that way. Actually, this is a good time to show you. There are 2 sides to this thing, obviously, but there's actually a different shape. We want this side up. This side is tapered a little more aggressively, and it fits the bevel on the Gladiator Gear Track better. I don't know if you can see that, but they really are a different shape. Sort of the same here, but this side is tighter. This side's a little fatter. So, letters up. So, next thing, let's go slide something in. If we like it, then we'll drill the retaining pin. Okay, we're going to let Chris do the honors and see if we got things right. Maybe it won't be the honors, maybe it'll be the oh gee, but I don't think so. Let's see how that worked. All right, so then pull it back and forth and see, is there, all right. Notice how the wheels in the front are turning when you do that. But one of the wheels in the back isn't really turning, right? So that means maybe I missed my drill location and it's a little wide. Let's take out one washer from each of the back wheels, right? And you can go do that right while we watch. It's a good test of the engagement of the skate wheels on the Gladiator track if they roll. If they're really tight, that's no good. You don't need that. But to prove that they roll means there's not going to be slop. Okay, so now, oh yeah, actually that's plenty tight. That's plenty tight. In fact, I think that's too tight. Put one washer under one side. Now let's see. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. Let's put an airplane on. Okay, one thing we forgot to do before we're ready to put the airplane back in is to locate and install the insert for our thumb screw. And that's going to go right here, and that's going to lock the system to the trailer so it can't move out when we're traveling. So, in order to do that, I need to roll this jack up just a little bit, and I'll put it back in a minute. I'm going to do this in 3 steps. I'm going to drill a little pilot hole through here and into the trailer floor so I get my alignment. Then I'm going to open up both holes, one for the insert and one for the clearance of the thumb screw. So I'm going to eyeball that. It's good enough for what we're doing. And that's all I need to do with that. This one, I'm going to go 1/4 inch. Got a 1/4 through there. That's good. And now we've got our pilot hole, and I'm going to drill 5/16. Now this only needs to go about 1/2 inch deep, so I'm going to watch that very carefully. Now this installs with a 6mm hex key, and I'm not sure I'm going to get through this rubber stuff, but let's try. I think I'm having some success. Is that working? Yeah, but it's painful. Okay, now it's got a bite in the wood. And there we go, just below flush. Nice. So then that's going to go up to there. It's going to stop. That guy's going to drop through there. We could probably open that up 9/16 or 9/32. But anyway, you get the idea. So we'll open that guy up just a little bit, make it easier to get in and out. But now we're ready to try our airplane. Okay, so Chris is ready to start. He's going to get the gear track on the ground and catch the first set of wheels, right? Then he's going to watch his landing gear in the front, clear the trailer, and just spin a little bit. And he's going to engage the second set of wheels. Watch the prop, and there we go. There he is. So all he needs to do is put his pin in, a couple of turns, and that's it. This airplane is secured and ready for travel. There you go.
Now take it out.
Yeah, so let's see it come back out. Watch the prop. Yep. And there you go.
That's nice. That's really nice. It slides right in, it locks in place.
After we completed the first setup, we used the same process for the second airplane. I think it came out pretty nice and Chris is happy. And while these models are fairly small sport planes, the same basic setup can be used for cross-T gear track configurations that you'd use for a warbird or a jet. I've included the list of parts and materials we used for this setup as well as the tools we used. I hope this was useful and it gives you some ideas for your transport setup. If you have any questions, email me at support@randomrc.com, and thanks for watching.